Talk radio host at WDUZ in Green Bay, talking about Taysom Hill and Jamaal Williams and how they fit with the Packers. Green Bay's head coach Mike McCarthy said the following, and I quote, "Taysom Hill belongs." What kind of a shot do you feel Taysom Hill has to be, I don't know, a practice squad quarterback or better on this specific team?
I think he's got a good chance to be a practice squad quarterback for the Packers. It's an interesting conversation because last year there was kind of a preseason darling, if you will. The Packers have a third-string guy, Joe Callahan, from a small school, and he got away for a little bit. They had to make a roster move, and McCarthy never speaks openly about, regretting letting some guy walk, but the decision had to be made. They let Callahan go. He ended up with New Orleans, came back, and, he's still the number 3 guy, and, of course, Brett Hundley's the number 2, but this kind of thing happens with the Packers where they'll bring in a project like this, if you want to call Taysom Hill a project, and they have this thing, McCarthy calls it his quarterback school, leading up to, mini camps and training camps. They just keep him there and just dive into the playbook and show him what, the ins and outs of the offense from the quarterback's perspective. And Aaron Rodgers still does it. And it's helped Brett Hundley tremendously. Joe Callahan, the number 3 guy, I think fits into that conversation too. But something to keep an eye on, with the aforementioned Hundley, during the draft, there were reports that the Packers were dangling him out there for trade talks and couldn't quite get what they wanted in return. But it's getting to that point of Hundley's career where, it's your 3rd season. You only want to stand and watch too long. And Hundley will be the first person to tell you he's learned a lot from watching Aaron Rodgers and learning under Mike McCarthy. But if they make one move at that position, then all of a sudden you're talking about a guy like a Taysom Hill going from a practice squad guy to a number 3 or a number 3 to a number 2. So they've got the position in good hands right now. But one thing changes, and all of a sudden that guy might be counted upon on a Sunday. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Give us an idea of what the running back situation is, because you've got Ty Montgomery. Is he still going to play running back? Kristen Michael was cut. Now you draft 3. Green Bay drafts 3 running backs. So how much run do you think Jamaal Williams could get given the situation going on right now?
I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm on with you guys from the BYU perspective, but I would not be surprised at all if at some point, even as a rookie, Jamaal Williams is the starting running back for the Green Bay Packers. They go into the season, not only do they lose Eddie Lacy, they lose James Starks, who was their number 2. They cut Kristen Michael, who was kind of promoted to that number 2 because they didn't have anybody else. So they're going into the season with Ty Montgomery, and he was a converted wide receiver during the middle of last season. Receiver from Stanford, converted to running back. That's their, quote, veteran experience at the position. So it's Ty Montgomery, a converted wide receiver, and they drafted 3 guys. Jamaal Williams, the first, he was in the 4th round, then Aaron Jones from UTEP, and Devontae Mays from Utah State. So really they're banking on at least 1 or 2 of these rookies to have a good camp, learn the playbook, and be ready to contribute. Because we've seen Ty Montgomery do it. He averaged 5.9 yards a carry last year when he did convert to running back, so he can do it. He's a really good player and had a huge game late in the season against the Chicago Bears when the Packers were basically in win-or-go-home mode when Aaron Rodgers said they had to run the table, and frankly, they did that, as it turns out. But Montgomery can play, but still part of me wonders whether or not he's just more of a gadget guy that you can move around and exploit different matchups. Maybe he's best suited as like a running back receiver hybrid and like a 3rd down running back kind of role. Specifically with Jamaal Williams, that's perfect because Jamaal Williams could be the 1st and 2nd down banger. He can protect the passer, as Reno Mahe pointed out to us. We had him on our airwaves, and that was one of the first things he brought up was how great he is in pass protection. I have a vision of a Jamaal Williams on early downs, Ty Montgomery on 3rd downs, and I think that's a perfect fit for those 2. It fits both their skill sets pretty ideally.
Marques Eversoll, sports talk personality at WDUZ in Green Bay on BYU Sports Nation. We're talking about Jamaal Williams and Taysom Hill and how they fit with the Packers. Brady Papinga, who you mentioned you talk to quite often, was adamant that if given the chance, Jamaal Williams, he thinks, will have over 1,000 yards rushing in his rookie campaign. That kind of took Jeremy and I by surprise. What is the likelihood, if he's given the opportunity to be the 1st and 2nd down back, that he goes for over 1,000 yards rushing in a pass-heavy offense led by the great Aaron Rodgers?
Well, the first thing I'd bring up is, like you just said, the pass-happy offense with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Eddie Lacy would be running hard, and he'd be averaging 5 yards a carry. then you look at the box score at the end of the game, and the guy carried the ball 14 times, and everybody's scratching their heads like, okay, why? If you win the game, nobody questions it, whether Rodgers throws 50 passes and you run at 14, but you do start questioning it if you lose the game, and Rodgers is throwing a bunch and you're barely running the ball when it was effective. There were times when Eddie Lacy was banging away, having a great game, and the Packers would shy away from that. I understand it because you have Aaron Rodgers, and I'll never second-guess a team for just handing the ball to number 12 and saying, go win, go do your thing. Plus, he has all the freedom at the line of scrimmage where if he doesn't like a front that he's seeing or like the defense he's looking at, he'll change the play and he'll get him into whatever he wants him to get him into. But if they do give Jamaal Williams the ball, listen, let's not act like the Packers don't run it at all. I mean, look at what Eddie Lacy did when he came in. As a rookie, Aaron Rodgers got hurt in November and missed basically half the season with the broken collarbone. So for the first time in, frankly, my lifetime watching the Packers, the offense was built around the running back because they didn't have a Favre or a Rodgers at quarterback for half that year. Lacy, as a rookie, racked up almost 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. The next year, he had basically the same thing, 1,100 yards. So if you establish yourself as an every down back, or at least the primary running back on first and second down, you're going to be getting that 10 to 15 carries every game. I wouldn't be shocked to see Jamaal Williams. I don't know, maybe it's a little too high hopes for him as a rookie to go over 1,000 yards. Maybe that's a little bit of the Brady Papinga BYU to Green Bay factor talking there. But Brady knows better than I do, and I'll take his word for it. He was pumping up both Jamaal Williams and Taysom Hill to the Packers before it actually happened. Both those things happened. So who would I be to second-guess Brady if he says that Jamaal Williams could go for 1,000 yards as a rookie?
Marcus, whatever you do when you get Jamaal Williams on your air or you're doing an interview with him, just ask him to do shout-outs with Jamaal. You'll thank me later.
Okay, I can do that.
If you have 4 extra minutes, yeah, do it.
Okay.
Good stuff. Marcus, we appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it, Marcus.